Here's Johnny.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
So simple.
Roll out.
I am Iron Man.
This is a tasty burger.
Welcome to the In Session Film Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Chasing the Gold. I am In Session Film Awards editor Shadan Larkey, joined again by my friend Amanda Spears. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be back.
So today we're going to get into the Gotham Award nominations and do a little bit of a deep dive into the lead acting races. But before we get started, Amanda, how are you feeling about this season so far overall? What's your temperature check as of November 2025?
Well, it's an interesting season because there's not a lot of good, solid front runners. And at this point last year, we kind of knew who was winning supporting actor. We were pretty sure what was going to happen in supporting actress. Actor was kind of coming into focus. Actress, you know, we all had it right in the end. Well, what we expected to happen happened in the end, but you know, it took a few turns. But this year, there's not a lot of front runners. We're still kind of almost in the attrition phase where we're waiting to see these films out. Front runners or people who we thought might be players have fallen, and now we're just hoping we can know what's going on. So,
yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, I feel like we're still, as you said, sort of like weeding out some like contenders, but I do think overall this is a much stronger season. Like I feel like there's so many films this year that I'm really excited and like passionate about, whereas last year there weren't that many, and I just feel like I'm liking things a lot more this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a little bit more fun when there aren't front runners that are so established where it's like, okay, just put Kieran Culkin's name on the Oscar and we can just save ourselves a few months of hemming and hawing. But it is a different race this year because you have two films, ironically both by Warner Brothers, where they are going to be major contenders, which is One Battle After Another, which is, of course, Paul Thomas Anderson's latest film. And then you have Ryan Coogler's Sinners, where both are capable. Yes, you've seen Sinners. Sorry, Gus. He refuses to let me do this unless he can sit in my lap. So, but Sinners, where they're both going to be major players. Sinners is going to have a lot of support below the line. And the question will be, in the acting races, where do they land?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, you've on one side, on the other side, you've got Michael B. Jordan, who's kind of at the point where he's due for his Welcome to the Club nomination. So there's a lot of stuff interestingly going on. And then you have the third player for Best Picture right now, which is Hamnet, where it looks like this is Jessie Buckley's. But we're not entirely sure yet if she's got it locked down.
Yeah, okay, lots to dive in there. But I think of sort of the safe bets, I think Jessie Buckley feels like the safest right now of any category, but we'll definitely get into that.
Oh, definitely.
But let's talk about lead actor, because you brought up something interesting, and I totally agree with you, which is I think that Michael B. Jordan feels pretty safe for a nomination at this point, and I keep seeing a lot of talk about, you know, he could miss, and Margot Robbie didn't get in for Barbie, but I very much agree with you where it feels like this is the year that he is going to get in. He's, you know, been around since The Wire, like he has a lot of sort of cred within the industry. He was sort of in the periphery of sort of previous races with Black Panther, Fruitvale Station. It just feels like it's time, and I feel pretty good about, you know, I feel really good. I actually had him in my number one spot for the longest time. I don't anymore, but he feels pretty safe, and I guess I'm just glad to hear somebody else say it, because it seems, I don't know, a little bit obvious to me as of right now.
Well, I think there's two things that need to happen to like guarantee a spot. One is, I think Warner Brothers, as much as I love the supporting cast of Sinners, it's going to be hard for any of them to stand out enough, I feel, to earn a nomination. So maybe they just push Michael B. Jordan acting wise. Like, he's placed 2 roles, nominate him. It's a 2-for-1. They love that in the Academy. So it does make sense for him to be getting that nomination. And I think he actually, because he's got so much to do. It's not just that he plays twins. There's so much going on in Sinners. And he's every emotion imaginable, not to mention the physicality of it. But I love him with Ryan Coogler. They are the new Denzel Washington and Spike Lee. They're at their best together. I mean, even that, I knew, because he's never done a movie without Michael B. Jordan, that in Wakanda Forever, I'm like, I knew there was going to be some kind of cameo or like they really do, even in Creed, bring out the best in each other. So I cannot imagine him missing. I mean, I can't imagine it happening. I just don't see any other stronger competitors with him right now. I think they've actually helped him out because they've labeled Sinners drama at the Globes and One Battle After Another a comedy. So that will free up Warner Brothers to campaign for him. And right now, he might actually be able to pull off a win there. We'll have to wait a little bit, but it is interesting that he's not being taken more seriously by people who usually have their fingers on the button with this. I think if we're underestimating anyone in any film, it's probably Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, because with the right narrative and push, that could be the big film this year.
I completely agree. And he's so charismatic and he's going to be everywhere. You completely hit the nail on the head, Amanda. So, who
this whole
else
season is going to be the tale of the narrative? Which narrative sticks? Is it Paul Thomas Anderson's turn, or is it we're approaching the 100th Oscars and we've never awarded a Black director's turn? And which one catches on more just overall? And either of them could go along for the ride. I think Leonardo DiCaprio, I think right now I'd pick him to win. I've been thinking a lot about him a lot. I don't know but he's been nominated since The Revenant. This is a completely different performance. I really love his performance in this because he's all over the map. I love when he gets to talk. He didn't get to talk enough in The Revenant for me. I love it when he talks.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about that, and I was thinking about Al Pacino and Scent of a Woman, and we always talk about how horribly gross of a win that was. But I think when I think about it now, I think the tragedy of it is he's only won for Scent of a Woman. If he had won for Scent of a Woman and something else 10, 20 years ago, I don't think we would be harping on it as much. So I think this is an opportunity to give someone like Leonardo DiCaprio a second Oscar, who is a very deserving person. He definitely meets the ideal of somebody who would win twice.
Yeah, again, I completely agree. I also have Leonardo DiCaprio in my number 1 slot for right now, and I need more time to be convinced to take him out for all the reasons. Like, that's exactly the argument that I was going to make, that he just seems like somebody that would have 2. And if One Battle After Another is the big behemoth this year, which I think it will be, it makes sense that Leo goes along for the ride. And I mean, I think Timothée Chalamet is in the number 2 position right now, but I don't know if they are ready to I don't know if they're ready to coordinate Timmy. And I just feel like, traditionally the person in the best picture has the stronger case. We've seen it time and time again. And so I just think that gives Leo the edge. I also think, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, I think maybe there's the Timothée Chalamet, like, theater kid, how bad he wants it energy might work against him. It hasn't really worked in Bradley Cooper's favor. Like, there's something about that rubs people the wrong way a little bit. I mean, do you agree?
They won't give poor Bradley Cooper a soccer participation trophy. Like, I feel so bad for him. I think, like, I haven't seen Marty Supreme, but
I haven't either. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to win this easily. Like, I just don't see it happening for him. Mainly for everything you said, and also for the fact that he went on his, I want to be one of the greats. Life is so hard. Your life is not that hard. Okay. I don't care what your background is, but yeah. You wanted to say playing Bob Dylan was hard, fine. But yeah, I want to be one of the greatest of all time speech. Like Michael B. Jordan could never give that speech. You could never get up there and say, I want to be one of the greatest of all time. Frankly, he wouldn't do it, but I don't, and I don't mind cocky. I don't mind a cocky acceptance speech. But I just don't think at his age it's going to work well. I don't really see the appeal personally, but he might actually, fun fact for him, he might actually win a Grammy for A Complete Unknown. So like Joaquin Phoenix, he might win a Grammy before his Oscar, but I don't think they're just going to go, okay, well, we didn't do it last year, so we got to do it this year. He's so young. They've got time. It's clear that this wasn't a one and done. He's going to be around. And I mean, remember with Leo, they made him wait till he was 40. And
right.
When you think of what he had to do in The Revenant to earn that Oscar, it's like, okay, damn. Like, yeah.
And, speaking of like inevitability, I think Timothée Chalamet, Austin Butler, Paul Mescal, even Michael B. Jordan, they are this sort of class of actor where it feels like the Oscar is not a question of if, but when. And I just don't know if Marty Supreme is going to be a strong enough player necessarily. I mean, it might end up being like top 5 for picture, but again, when you have a behemoth like One Battle After Another, or even Sinners in the mix, like why would this be the film? And I don't think he has a strong enough narrative.
Yeah, and I think with Paul Mescal, he's going supporting, so that might actually this year be better for him because he's like 30, I believe. He's not like 26 he's been nominated. He's on their radar. He's got Denzel Washington singing his praises last year. It's completely possible that someone like him in supporting could pull it out in a year like this where it's like, I don't know, but I mean, I feel the same way with Jesse Plemons. Like, I don't see him as a strong, I haven't seen Begonia. He doesn't really read to me as leading actor Oscar winner when they could give this to Leonardo DiCaprio.
I had Paul Mescal in my lead prediction because I was like, okay, whatever category he is campaigning for, like he'll get nominated in. But now that I had to move him out of Best Actor, my Best Actor lineup has become rather fluid because I also took out Jeremy Allen White of my top 5. So I'm
so happy about that. I cannot. Yeah. I don't root against films, but I cover Emmys too. And I've had 2 years of listening to this man give acceptance speeches. And my favorite moment of the 2025 award season is when he won Best Actor in a comedy for The Bear, and the 5 other nominees in sync rolled their eyes. I know it's horrible to say, but they could have drawn a name out of a hat as long as it wasn't Jeremy Allen White at the Emmys, and I would have been happy. Thank God Seth Rogen won. There's a sentence you don't get to say very often. But yeah, I couldn't take another Jeremy Allen White acceptance speech.
And the thing is like, I genuinely love The Bear. And we've seen with the Oscars, like they do love, you mentioned Kieran Culkin, like Jeremy Strong getting nominated recently, like Bryan Cranston. Like when the prestige actor makes the jump, TV actor makes the jump to film, they do really like that. And I do think Jeremy Allen White, with the right role, like 1,000% I see an Oscar nomination in his future. I just think, again, speaking of narratives, like the Springsteen movie needed to do well at the box office. It needed stronger reviews. And I still see a world where he could possibly sneak in, but I think that momentum is declining rather quickly for him.
and I think with the thing that you have to remember with Rami Malek and Bohemian Rhapsody, where the reviews were like a little bit more positive than negative, but it just had a huge box office.
Mm-hmm.
And Rami
People
Malek
showed
didn't
up.
go on, and Rami Malek didn't go on a 3-year awards win where it's like, we get it. You're gonna thank the same people every time. You're not in a comedy. There wasn't as much controversy. Rami Malek, his one Emmy win, he gave a really great acceptance speech, and then unfortunately he didn't get nominated again. But sometimes I think people get fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, supporting actor is a mess.
So, Amanda, for lead actor, should I go 10-1 or 1-10? What would you prefer?
Oh, 10-1. I don't know.
Okay. So
I'm
I
not very good
have,
with odds. They're not really my best.
yeah, so these are, and I made a whole list of broader contenders that we'll get into, but these are the top 10 that I have. I have Dwayne Johnson for The Smashing Machine.
Never going to happen, but sure,
never gonna happen. Yeah,
you gotta like
feel
when I hear people say they're putting him in his top 10, I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. If you want to fill out a top 10 list and put him in there, sure.
Yeah,
but
he's
never gonna happen.
I'm gonna take him out of my top 10 and probably put Daniel Day-Lewis in my top. He's probably a safer bet for a top 10. And then at number 9, I have Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams. And I honestly, Amanda, if I had to give an Oscar myself, this would be the performance that I would award. I love this performance. I think he's phenomenal. It's like my favorite kind of performance, which is like, I don't feel like I'm watching a performance. It's just all in his face. I felt like I was watching somebody's life. I can't say enough good things about this movie and this performance. And I've seen a lot of people, like, again, now that Paul Mescal is sort of out of lead actor contention, I feel like that's opened up a slot, and a lot of people are pushing hard for Joel Edgerton, but it's just too quiet of a movie. Netflix has a lot of other things going on, but I will be stumping hard for Joel Edgerton. Like, I love him so much, and I love this.
Is in your top 10 besides Dwayne Johnson, which isn't going to happen? And
so then I have George Clooney. I don't see that happening. I mean, I think he's on the outside looking in, like it could happen. Then I have Jesse
Plemons.
Plemons.
A Globe nomination. That might be his biggest.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think Globes, like, they love George Clooney. They want him in them all at the show. Like, he's getting a Globes nomination. Like, I would be willing to bet money on that at this point.
Yeah, sure.
And then I have Jesse Plemons for Begonia, Jeremy Allen White, kind of, again, number 6 at the outside looking in. And then for my top 5, I have Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. He's playing a real person. He's been nominated in an acting race for his Richard Linklater collaborations before. It just seems like, again, with the narrative, like he was, didn't get in for, oh my God, the movie where he plays a priest.
I don't.
But anyway, First Reformed. He didn't get he got snubbed there. So it just seems like he maybe has a little bit of like an overdue, we haven't been appreciating this man enough type of a narrative going for him. At number 4, I have Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. He's been everywhere. That movie is beloved. I think it's getting in the international race. And I think he has a good shot at the Globes, honestly, like to get nominated and to win potentially.
Drama.
Yeah. And then my top 3 would be Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, and Leonardo DiCaprio. Currently, I have as my winner. I think that the top 3 for me feel pretty safe. But then I feel like other than those top, we just don't have very many like strong contenders where I'm like, that person feels locked in.
What do you think about Oscar Isaacs for Frankenstein? I'm wondering if it's going to perform really well. If he could potentially be the benefactor and overcome George Clooney with Netflix. Because there's a lot of Netflix, but
I could see Netflix like maybe giving Frankenstein the priority, and I've heard it's played really well with industry folks. I just think the buzz on that movie in terms of performances is Jacob Elordi. Like And I honestly thought that have you seen Frankenstein yet?
No, I am guilty of wanting to watch Death by Lightning first.
No,
I
I
was up
feel you.
really late. I watched Nuremberg and then I watched Death by Lightning yesterday, so I had like my Michael Shannon day. So it's a shame Nuremberg
Listen,
isn't a big player because he would definitely benefit from having a limited series and a movie at the same time. And I think he's one of those people who we all kind of want to see win at some point.
and that's another one that he feels like inevitable of like a supporting actor, character actor type actor, kind of like a
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons. Like it just feels like it's gonna happen at some point. But I think that the Dr. Frankenstein part of the movie is the weakest part of the movie, and so I just feel like I don't know. I don't think it's a very good performance, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's just my personal bias, but
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but
yeah.
I mean, sometimes people go along for the ride when a film does as well as nominations wise. I mean, I am always a little nervous when people get past the 4 Oscar nomination part and they haven't won. Now, I know one of those was for writing for Ethan Hawke, but it still is, well, 2 of them were for writing. So it still is one of those things where it makes me a little nervous that all of his past nominations have come in supporting. I don't know if at this point in his career, he's a real player to win Best Actor.
Yeah,
Same thing with Jesse Plemons. Jesse Plemons
Right.
feels like the type of person who would win supporting. I know that sounds awful, but you and I have been doing this long enough to know, like, you know, like this, sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Right. 1000%. I think outside of DiCaprio, Chalamet, and Jordan, like, I don't see anyone else contending to win. I think anyone else would be lucky to just get nominated. And I think,
and
yeah.
in that case, that makes somebody like George Clooney dangerous. It may, you know, you just never know.
Right. And I mean, I mentioned like, oh, I took Daniel Day-Lewis out of my top 10, but like there's even a world where if they really don't know where to go, they could just go to Daniel Day-Lewis. Like I always bring up Denzel Washington in Roman J, whatever that movie was, Roman J. Esquire, whatever, I can't even pronounce it.
Yeah.
Esquire. But like that was a very thin Best Actor year, and they didn't really know where to go, so they were like, okay, Denzel, like he's just a favorite and will not. So like that. It's a very outside chance at this point, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I feel the same thing about Brendan Fraser with Rental Family. Like he's not going to be a player to win, but he could potentially get nominated for that if they're looking for other nominees. He's just recently won. He could fill a spot, but even Ethan Hawke, it's. I agree with you on those 3. Those are the 3 that are the big players right now. And the bad thing for someone like Timmy is he's not going to be in one of the best. He's never been in the Best Picture frontrunner. That's kind of what would help someone like Jordan or DiCaprio. And both of them feel like, yeah, this might be the time. I don't think it's going to be Jordan's time, but it might be an easy time to award DiCaprio again, and he does pretty well on the circuit. He gives some good acceptance speeches,
and he's been like doing press for this movie, which he normally doesn't. Like he's been on podcasts. I never thought I would see Leonardo DiCaprio on a podcast, but like
if he's on
really
this one, can I join you?
Listen, if Leonardo DiCaprio comes on this podcast, I will be insufferable for the rest of my. But yes, you're more than welcome.
Yeah. It's funny. I was looking at somebody was asking me about One Battle After Another and SAG awards for ensemble. I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's got 2 big problems with winning SAG ensemble. 1, the director is well known, and they don't usually go that way. And 2, Leonardo DiCaprio is really bad at sharing. He's lost that award like 7 or 8 times. He's not good at sharing awards. But yeah, I think right now Leo seems like the safe bet. I think the Globes and Critic Choice nominations will help us out a little bit more than usual.
Yeah.
Only because we'll get down to 10 and 6 and then we can kind of shuffle around. But I agree with you with Wagner Moura. there seems to be room every year for someone from an international feature or a non-English feature, however you want to think about it, to make the lineup. And that's encouraging.
Yeah, with how international the Academy is trending, and they're not, I just feel, and this year, Amanda, like I keep saying it, is one of the strongest, if not strongest, years for international features in general. I think my big thing is with Neon having so many of them, how well are they going to be able to campaign for these films in other categories? I think that's going to be a big problem, but I feel like Wagner Moura is really establishing himself as a major player. So he feels like he's in a good position right now. Another person I want to,
Yeah, and I agree with you about the Globes. That could be this year's big surprise. It's weird though. It's just it's weird that we don't have a more established front runner, but that's also kind of fun. That everything's still kind of being figured out.
Yeah, another international sort of contender is No Other Choice, and I just wanted to bring up Lee Byung-hun from No Other Choice, the lead. He is phenomenal. Again, outside shot here, but I could see him showing up, with certain awards bodies, not necessarily the Oscars, but I just wanted to shout him out.
It's going to be interesting to see what Warner Brothers does. The more I think about this, the more I wonder what their play is going to be. They're big enough that they could mount 2 successful campaigns, but how they divvy this up between the two, because they don't want to make Coogler upset and they don't want to make Paul Thomas Anderson upset. So, it's going to be difficult. It'll be interesting to see just down the line what they do.
I mean, I think you could argue that the categories, like obviously Sinners, I think is a major contender for original screenplay. Like that seems like a good way to be like, okay, we can give Ryan Coogler something. I think getting him a director nomination is really important as sort of, here's somebody who's been fighting for film and this kind of thing. It's going to be big across the text. The thing with Sinners at this point is I don't know how many wins it can get, like outside of screenplay, which I feel pretty good about right now. I just don't know.
I think it gets score. It could get, I think it's going to be a major competitor in the tech categories because it's going to get cinematography. It's probably going to get editing. It's going to get nominated for sound because it's kind of a musical, kind of not. And then it might have just a tiny bit more below the line support, but it's acting nomination. It's the acting nominations with both Sinners and Sinners and One Battle After Another, because they both have so many people who could fill up supporting actor and actress. We can get into that later, but it is going to be interesting to see, can they at least make sure that, that Michael B. Jordan gets nominated.
Yeah, I think you brought up a really good point that if I was them, I would also just focus in on that, because I think, and I mean, maybe like Delroy Lindo, but like the supporting actress, I just don't see either like that really taking off for anyone in that film. So I think focus on getting that best actor slot.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be harder because the people in Sinners are a little less known. I mean, maybe they could get Haley Steinfeld back in one of those, like, see, we didn't screw her up. She turned out well-rounded. But it's going to be harder for Sinners, but it's also going to be harder for One Battle After Another. So let me know when you're ready to talk about the next category.
Well, I wanted to bring up some, again, outside contenders for Best Actor that I think, maybe not for the Oscars, but just people that I think are going to show up in some way throughout the season, perhaps, or be part of the broader conversation. But Hugh Jackman for Song Sung Blue, I don't know, I feel like that movie's just getting a big push among people, and so he might show up. I think Will Arnett for Is This Thing On could be a possibility somewhere.
That's still coming out this year?
Yeah. And then I have a couple of Globesy people. And then we'll talk about the Gotham Awards, but Alexander Skarsgård getting a nomination there for Pillon is interesting. So he could be like a Spirit Award, contender. But in terms of like the Globes for comedy, I mean, Channing Tatum and Roofman, like I love that performance. He seems like somebody that could get love when we get to sort of the comedy categories across different awards bodies. Glenn Powell in Running Man. I don't know if that's a comedy necessarily, but he could show up.
That's a
Who else?
remake. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Colin Farrell for what is that movie? I can't even. The Ballad of a Small Player, which I despise that movie, but he's Colin Farrell, so like he might get nominated somewhere.
I don't think he's going to get nominated at the Globes. They just did that for him for the Penguin, so they're in no urgency to really award him. But
yeah, Amanda, these are like outside shots of outside shots, but I just want to mention who else should be on the radar, I think. And then Benicio del Toro for the Phoenician Scheme could be like a Globes thing. I mean, he's having a big year. People are reminded how much they love him.
I think Benicio del Toro is going to be helped with something like One Battle After Another by the Venetian Scheme, because this is like the year we saw him in a completely different light.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with Benicio del Toro. I always have been, but I'm glad that he's like people are remembering how much they love him.
I liked him better than Sean Penn in One Battle After.
I did too. See, Amanda, everyone is saying this. Like, he was my favorite supporting actor performance. Shout out to my mom, who also said that he was her favorite supporting actor performance. He like makes that movie for me, honestly. Like, he adds such an interesting balance to it.
Yes, and there's something that like he does something completely different than what he's known for in a way that is so refreshing that I feel like we might be thinking it's Sean Penn, but it might be Benicio del Toro, because it's really hard to win a third Oscar.
Yeah, we'll talk about the supporting races, but I am not on the Sean Penn train at all.
Yeah, I'll keep my mouth shut. But I think you're right. If he gets in for One Battle After Another, he could get that double bounce and like land as comedy actor. Then we've also got to keep in mind that there's always Daniel Craig for. They nominate him every year for Knives Out. So
I didn't have Daniel Craig on my list at all. That's such a good call.
They've never not nominated Knives Out at the Globes. So, just pencil him in.
Yeah. I also thought about like Austin Butler and Caught Stealing. It's never gonna happen, but I love Liam Neeson in the Naked Gun remake. I thought he was so funny. So I'll be putting him on my critics group ballots for comedy actor. But Amanda, are there anyone that like just performances that you loved or people that you would like to see get attention that maybe aren't a major part of the conversation that should be?
Not right now. I mean, like I said, I just saw Nuremberg and I was like, well, that's not going to happen. Like about a third of the way through, I'm like, nope, not for Rami Malek, not for Russell Crowe. I mean, you and I were talking earlier. I'm like, Brian Cox did the role better in a TV miniseries than what Russell Crowe did. And I love courtroom dramas. You'd think that like a good old fashioned courtroom drama set in Nuremberg. I think Judgment at Nuremberg, there was a Best Picture winner set there, but this, it fails everywhere except for Michael Shannon. So like, I still wouldn't rule Michael Shannon out because, he's Michael Shannon, and two, he's really good in it. But
yeah. But it's interesting that they made the decision to put both Russell Crowe and Rami Malek in lead. Like maybe if they had split that up somehow, it would have gone. They can't
split them. It would honestly be category fraud. And I think I will give them credit for that because one, we do see that often, but they are definitely co-leads because they're battling each other psychologically. Like you can Google what happened, but no one who interviewed, neither of these men lived very long after this.
Mm-hmm.
One obviously was, well, I'm not going to ruin it. You can Google it, but yeah, still not. Something happened in that room.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I read the book. I was disappointed.
Mm. So shall we move on to Best Actress?
Sure.
Okay, I will again sort of read you my 10, and then we'll kind of talk about like the major contenders, quote unquote. So I did put Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue in my 10. Again, I don't think that this is actually happening. Like, I think she could get in at the Globes because they love their Nepo babies and she's a previous winner there. But I'm not really sure where this Song Sung Blue random push came from of like all these trades are randomly putting her in their top 5 like out of nowhere based on like a trailer and early buzz. I really like Kate Hudson. I've always thought she was like more talented than the projects that she's been doing for the past 20 or so years, but I don't buy this happening. I just put her in there because I needed someone to put in there, and I took out Sydney Sweeney from my top 10. So I just put in Kate Hudson instead. But I do think Amanda overall Best Actress is a much thinner field. Like I was what named you like 21 names for Best Actor. Like I was struggling with Best Actress to think of people. It's very thin and getting thinner by the day, I think. But I also have Tessa Thompson for Hedda, Jennifer Lawrence, Die My Love, Chase Infinity, One Battle After Another, Emma Stone for Begonia, and then my top 5 for nominations right now, I have Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked for Good, Renate Rain, I should learn how to pronounce her last name, for Sentimental Value, Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee, and Jessie Buckley for Hamnet.
Yeah, the only one I feel confident about is Jessie Buckley and probably Cynthia Erivo. Right now, this appears to be Jessie Buckley's to lose.
Correct.
By a lot, because like I said, I don't think even if Emma Stone makes the top 5, that she's going to be a player. They're not going to give her a third Oscar this close. There's no way that's happening. And they're not going to give it to her for another Yorgos Lanthimos picture. She's going to have to go straight drama. It's not going to happen. Not this year. But Chase Infinity is, I understand the push, and she could definitely make the top 5 for One Battle After Another, but she's completely unknown. So is Lily Gladstone for another, Leo picture, but Leo wasn't really in the race. It's hard. I feel like both her and Leo are missing that scene where they acknowledge she's not his daughter. Spoiler, sorry. Like, I think both of them could have used one more scene. But if One Battle After Another becomes this huge player, I could see her bumping in. She's probably going to get a Globe nomination. It's just going to be hard. I don't like, Julia Roberts could still technically be a player because she's Julia Roberts.
Right. Yeah. I see her getting in at the Globes or something of that nature for sure. I do want to talk about the Chase Infinity thing a little bit broader. I understand, as you said, I understand the push and I respect it because she is kind of the lead actress of the movie. And I think like broader terms for her career, like the fact that she is saying like, she wants to be a lead contender, I think is really smart for like a decade and, strategy of what her career could look like. But I think if she was in supporting, she would have had a much stronger shot at getting nominated. I
don't know about that because One Battle After Another's already got 2 people they're campaigning for supporting. I think having a third would make this even messier because then you're getting into like, I don't even think there's ever been 3 contenders from a film for supporting actress.
Yeah, but I don't think Regina Hall. I think if Chase Infinity wasn't supporting, like she would have been I just don't see Regina Hall as being like a major contender there. And I think if Chase was in that conversation, she would have been the number 2 behind Teyana Taylor, like no
See,
question.
I think that One Battle After Another is probably going to knock themselves out of supporting actress. I think Chase Infinity putting her lead, well, it's borderline at best. I mean, it's a soft lead. Like, let's be real. It's a soft lead. She's not in the first 45 minutes of the film. I do understand why they're doing it. And I don't think she can win, but I think she could get nominated in lead. And that's going to be the big bounce. Like, that's it.
Right. I mean, I think she could get nominated. The Oscars like love an ingenue. They love sort of the young star. They love anointing young stars, like in Best Actress in particular. And you mentioned like Lily Gladstone. The thing is like Lily Gladstone, she was she had all this sort of independent films that she had done. So she just like made sense. But like Chase Infinity, this is her first film role, and this is a much more competitive race for Best Actress in terms of who the top 5 are going to be. Like maybe there's not that many outside contenders, but like if you're, looking at the Julia Roberts, Emma Stones, or the Jennifer Lawrence, like I just don't know if Chase Infinity, I don't see it. I could be wrong to your point. Like when there's a big Best Picture juggernaut, there's sort of coattail nominations that come in. I
think what will help
strong
her
enough
is passion for the film and her, because remember, they don't just tick off 5 names on these ballots. They rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if there's enough passion for her where maybe there isn't enough passion for Julia Roberts or Emma Stone, she could get those crucial number 2 votes or 1 vote for Best Actress that are necessary in order to get the nomination over someone like Jennifer Lawrence or Emma Stone.
I just feel like when you come away from One Battle After Another, I don't know if her performance is like necessarily the thing that stands out the most. So like again, I understand like if I was her PR, I think like going Best Actress is like really smart in terms of like establishing her as a star. I don't know. As of right now, like I don't see it happening. If she gets in a bunch of places, sure, like I'll move her up. But like I think, Rose Byrne, I have her in my number 5, but she seems like in terms of a narrative, like she just has a really strong narrative. She has been around for a long time. She's worked with everyone. She can do comedy, she can do drama. The film is getting really strong reviews. We sort of always see these maybe like indie, films get at least one acting like sort of like After Sun for Paul Mescal, like these kinds of movies like will sneak in for acting races, and she just seems like she's in a good position for like a first time now, because we don't actually have very many first time nominees this year, weirdly. I think Renat for Sentimental Value, like she was totally snubbed for the worst person in the world, and I just see her getting in. She again has like international support. Cynthia, I think, is safe given her history with the Oscars and given how big Wicked is going to be. So, and I think Amanda Seyfried, like, Searchlight. It's Searchlight, right? Yeah, like she's going to be their big Best Actress push. She's a previous nominee. She just had this like amazing TV run with the Elizabeth Holmes miniseries that she did a few years ago. Her performance is incredible. Coming off of the movie last year, like everyone, Mona Fastfold, Brady Corbet, they're sort of the new filmmakers on the scene that everybody likes. So honestly, I feel pretty good about my top 4. It's just that 5th one that I'm like, I think could be iffy.
Yeah, the race is long. This category is a little on the thin side. Is Hamnet going drama at the Globes?
I believe so. I don't think you could make an argument for it being anything else, to be honest.
Okay, I guess you never know. You never know. That could help someone like Cynthia Erivo if she can win. I mean, I know everyone's like, "Oh, she'll just win Best Song." I'm like, let's hold off. There's a lot of competitors
Yeah.
for song. That song category is super competitive, and we haven't heard these songs where she might not qualify for the nomination. I always say, like, when it comes to the music branch, just let them play out, because remember, Beyonce did not get nominated for Listen from Dreamgirls because her contribution to the song was deemed not enough to be eligible. So I always say, like, let the music branch play out, because they are one of the fairer branches. But she could pick up a Globe. It's possible that we could see
the FYC page for Wicked just has Steven Schwartz listed for both of the songs in terms of credits, so I don't think she would be a nominee if the song gets.
We'll have, like I said, that's one of those things where I always say with that branch, it's best to just they know what they're doing. It's why when Wicked got nominated for score last year, I'm like, they know what they're doing. They're not just letting it in because they want to. It's the same thing that when Mary Poppins got nominated, I was surprised, but I know that they dissect those scores for non-original music to see what the balance is. But maybe Cynthia wins a Globe. We'll see. I've never. Maybe there's a film that we haven't heard of that's coming out that's going to put this on its edge. But Jessie Buckley seems like the type of person who could win this. She was nominated by surprise. Remember, that's always even bigger. She was not considered, even in that conversation that year, and then she snuck in at the last minute, which is always a huge deal. I think that, of the train wreck of season 4 of Fargo, her nurse death was, the best performance out of that. She seems like she's got everything going for her, and she's in the other film that's in conversation for Best Picture. Which is ironically how Frances McDormand won this for another Chloe Zhao film. So that would be quite the legacy for Chloe Zhao if she could get 2 Best Actress wins for her films.
Yeah, I think
people have actresses lining up for her.
Listen, I mean, from the moment they announced Jessie Buckley for this role, I was like, oh. And I mean, Cynthia Erivo, like, she does have an incredibly strong narrative herself. Like, this would be the completion of her EGOT. She is beloved. She's going to be everywhere with Ariana. Like, Wicked is going to be huge. But Jessie Buckley, like, she fits, again, that sort of ingenue, Brie Larson, Jennifer Lawrence, Emma Stone. Indie Darling.
Huge film. Yeah.
1,000%.
And she's British. I believe she's British. She's probably the BAFTA frontrunner. And as we know, that we can get into that organization's racist problems till we're blue in the face. Like, I can do a whole 20 minutes on that, starting with why the hell have they never nominated Denzel Washington? But like I said, let's put a pin in that for now, folks. I'm saving for that for if they don't nominate Michael B. Jordan. I will be happy to give you my full rant on that category. But I was on the BBC once, and they were like, please don't bring that up.
Oh my God. Well, listen, if you need a whole jury nominating system, that tells you everything you need to know about where they are.
They've made plenty of mistakes, but it is weird that one organization has had so much. It's become so powerful. But she seems like she might be, of all the acting races right now, the one they're ready to crown. So we'll see how she handles that. She doesn't seem like she wants to be out there doing the grunt work.
But
sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't work. You never know.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say this could be the kind of thing where she doesn't even need to be out there. I mean, like, again, she has like that respect among her peers. Hamnet is gonna be really big. It has Chloe Zhao. Like, I don't think she really needs to even be out there. I feel like the work really speaks for itself. And honestly, again, like, I feel very strongly about Amanda Seyfried and The Testament of Anne Lee. I think if people just see that movie, like, the performance is just incredible, and she, again, just seems positioned really well. So
She had
like
a hard
yeah.
time getting nominated the first time, though. She didn't make SAG or BAFTA. And remember, when she did do her Amanda Knox tour, the only reason I bring this up is it wasn't Amanda Knox. Who did she play? She played somebody.
Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah, everybody's playing someone real. It's hard to keep up with Elizabeth Holmes. Yes, she won the Emmy in a very weak field that year. She won the Globe, but they didn't give her the SAG award, and that was the one where I was like, ooh. Her fellow actors didn't award her, and they didn't even like her enough in Mank to nominate her. And we knew Mank was on their radar, so yeah, I agree. She could definitely get in, but I don't know if she can get in a second time without a SAG nomination. She's going to need
fair.
a SAG or a BAFTA.
Yeah.
She's going to need one of the two. Like Octavia Spencer didn't get a SAG nomination for Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water, but when she got a BAFTA nomination, I'm like, that racist organization nominated her. She's in. Like, put her back in your Oscar race. But she's going to need one or the other this time. I don't think she's going to get lucky enough to get nominated twice without a BAFTA or SAG nomination.
She'll be out there though. I mean, she's already been to every single film festival. Like they're pushing her hard. So again, I think she's positioned pretty well.
She was out there the last time. It didn't matter.
Yeah. But I think her career
period.
Yeah.
There's a 2-week period with Mank where they thought she was going to be the winner. And then that didn't happen, obviously. But, I don't know if you can be lucky enough twice in such a close proximity to not get a SAG or BAFTA nomination. She's going to need her actor support.
I agree with you. I think her career is just in a better position now than it was when she did Mank, so that may count for something. So let's talk about like some other. Do you have sort of other contenders that might be on your radar?
Not really. This is like a boring field because we don't even have like the really out there, like when we saw Aubrey Plaza in the Criminal film. I can't remember the character's name. Is a criminal.
Is it Megalopolis?
No, it was she got an Independent Spirit Award nomination for
yeah. Okay, I know.
Where you're like, it's way out there, but with a Spirit Award nomination, she still was in everyone's like top 10, top 12 list. I don't even know how you make a top 10 list this year. And I'm disappointed, but I think these things are kind of cyclical. Like we had such a stacked actress race last year with some really good performances, and even those that didn't get nominated. Sometimes this just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm.
But that also makes it fun. Like maybe there's a movie that comes out at the 11th hour, and bam, Jessie Buckley's got some competition.
Yeah, I do think like we're just gonna see a couple different like names that could pop up here and there. Like I think Sydney Sweeney, some critics group is gonna nominate her. I know it. But she's gonna get some. SAG could nominate her randomly, just because I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see her show up somewhere. Eva Victor for Sorry Baby could be, Indie Spirits, some nomination somewhere. Again, Kirsten Dunst for Roofman could be a Comedy Globes contender. Elizabeth Olsen in Eternity. I love that film. I love her performance. Like she could be an easy sort of Globes comedy contender. I think she's phenomenal. June Squibb for Eleanor the Great.
That would be an amazing kind of nomination if she could get. Her at her age, it would be incredible.
I mean, she did get love for Thelma here and there last year, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. Dakota Johnson for Materialist, possibly for the Globes. Laura Dern for Is This Thing On? Beloved, could be that's going drama at the Globe, so that'll be interesting. But she's Laura Dern. She's shown up for again.
They love her.
They love her. They love her, and I wouldn't be surprised if at least some critics group or some industry. I think if we're making a long list, which is our goal here, I think she absolutely should be on it. And then, okay, we need to talk about weapons. I think Julia Garner, I put her on my list. Is she going to get nominated anywhere? Probably not. But yeah. And one of my favorite performances of the year, Barbie Ferreira and Bob Trevino Likes It. I love that movie. I've been stumping for that movie since March, and I will, if she shows up anywhere, I will be the happiest person on the planet. But any sort of outside shot long list contenders that we haven't mentioned for Best Actress, Amanda, or just performances that you liked that you think should be mentioned?
No, not really. I'm good with the people we've mentioned. It'll be interesting to see where Chase Infinity lands, I think.
Yeah, I think that really was a huge curveball. Like when they, and I was like, oh, like it really made me kind of redo all of my like lists and things when she went lead.
It makes sense for what they're planning for One Battle After Another. We'll see how it works out, though.
So I did want to talk about the Gotham Awards quickly, which we should mention. Like their voting body is sort of film critics and like film journalists. There, it's not does not have any sort of overlay with voting bodies, but I do think it could be an arbiter for sort of what has momentum. Last year, Nickel Boys did really well with them, so kind of showed some early sign of support for that movie. Sing Sing did well for them last year. A Different Man ended up winning Best Picture last year, so like again, not a huge overlap with the Oscars, but it does kind of show like momentum. And One Battle After Another did really, really well. Got the most nominations. I guess I'll read. I'll read Best Feature, and then I'll read the acting races, which are not gendered at the Gotham Awards. So for Best Feature, we have Begonia, East of Wall, Familiar Touch, Hamnet, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Lurker, One Battle After Another, Sorry Baby, The Testament of Anne Lee, and Train Dreams. Amanda, is there anything about that list of Best Feature that kind of stands out to you that could be telling one way or another?
Well, they like to go a little bit more independent, but I think leaving out Sinners was a mistake.
Yeah.
But they do go a little bit more independent. So, and also, spoiler alert, some of the bigger names are not in the list in the acting races. But
yeah, so let's talk about the acting races. So, outstanding lead performance. We have Jessie Buckley in Hamnet, Lee Byung-yoon for Hoon for No Other Choice, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Sope Dirisu for My Father's Shadow. I'm not familiar with that film, but I'm gonna. It's a movie film. Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love, Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent, Josh O'Connor for The Mastermind, also a movie distributed film. Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee, and Tessa Thompson for Hedda. This is interesting. Like I think a lot of obvious contenders, but the No Other Choice mention, like the fact that film is gaining ground. The test again, Amanda Seyfried getting in, Josh O'Connor. Like I don't think he's a serious contender for the Knives Out film, but the fact that he does have this support in the industry is interesting. Could bode well for his career in the future. Wagner Moura getting in, Ethan Hawke getting in. So like I don't know, it kind of I guess reinforced for me that these are the names that are sort of like separating themselves from the pack a little bit.
Yeah, again, because it's a film festival, kind of, it's critics. They tend to go a little bit more indie, so it does make sense. Like I wouldn't be panicked if you don't see Leonardo DiCaprio or Michael B. Jordan on this list yet. That's kind of is what it is. As far as those are concerned.
For the supporting races, again, these are non-gendered, but we have Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Inga Ibslaughter, Lilius for Sentimental Value, India Moore for Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, Wumbi Makasu for Sinners, Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly, Andrew Scott for Blue Moon, Alexander Skarsgård for Pillion, Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value, and Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. This
list is awesome.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
this is no, I totally agree with you. The fact that Inga is the sentimental value mention over Elle Fanning makes me so happy because she's my favorite performance in that film, and I love that she's getting this needed push of like, we're not just gonna name check Elle Fanning because she's the bigger star. We're gonna actually look at the performances. I she would be my personal supporting actress winner, so I was just really happy to see her here. I was really happy to see Del Toro over Sean Penn. I think Jacob Elordi is astounding in Frankenstein. Like, he is what you sort of like are thinking about after you see that film. So I was really happy to see that.
There is a name on this list that I think we should talk about, because if he gets going, and I mean, he starts picking up a win here, a Globe win there, he will become a serious threat to win that Oscar, and it's Adam Sandler. Because he can do what people have struggled with in 45 seconds, 90 seconds, and that is slay when it comes to your Oscar audition.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about Jamie Lee Curtis being the right person to have won that year or worthy, but the one thing she did in the 45 seconds that counted the most in her career is deliver the performance of her life on that SAG Award stage. And if Adam Sandler gets the opportunity to get on a major award stage and give an acceptance speech, people are going to start checking his name off more, because they're going to go, I want to see that.
Yeah.
He's I mean, if you even just look at what he did for the Indie Spirit Awards for Uncut Gems when he won. No, those two are not homeless rabbis. Like, he really, in a room where people were probably like, really, we gave this to him, really delivered this amazingly hilarious speech. He could be one of those threats that we're not seeing coming. Like, all it's going to take is a couple good speeches, and he is going to be in the hunt in a very kind of weird field.
1,000%, yeah. Yeah. He has the narrative. I mean, it's a Noah Baumbach film. It's a film about Hollywood, like 1,000%. Yeah, I couldn't
remember he has made a lot of people rich, but when you look at the supporting race, you've got Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro in the mix. You've got all these people for Sinners. You've got Paul Mescal. You know, all of a sudden, someone like Adam Sandler starts looking really good if he can get on that stage. And he is a past SAG Award nominee for Hustlers. So it's not
all I think
of the realm.
Absolutely not. And I mean, when you think of the Globes last year, all I think of is just the Chalamet. So all he has to do that is do that again, and I think he'll be in a good position.
But I saw him on the red carpet with George Clooney, and he's like, George Clooney told me I had to wear grown-up clothes. I'm like, that's awesome. He's the one to be a threat.
Yeah. That's so smart. I'm wondering, let me look at my supporting actor, because I have him in my 5, but maybe I'm like tempted to move him up a couple slots. Do you have any closing thoughts? We'll definitely have you back on Chasing the Gold very soon, but as we sort of wrap up our discussion of the Gotham Awards and sort of the best actor, best actress sort of long lists, if you will, any sort of closing thoughts?
We're still in the attrition phase where things can happen. Like, everything looks good for Jessie Buckley now, but people have messed this up in the past. Front runners like Hamnet have fallen. We don't know what the box office is going to do for this film. That could kill it. It could kill her chances. We don't know yet. But again, with Warner Brothers having 2 of the big top films this year, and also the top contenders in a lot of acting categories. It's going to be fun to see where the chips fall.
Yeah. And I will say, because we've already seen, what article was it? Vulture that was like, "Oh, Hamnet is our Oscar villain." I will have none of this Hamnet slander. I'm tired of people calling it trauma porn. It's not. I mean, we didn't call Manchester by the Sea trauma porn. Like, I don't like the way some of this discussion around this film is taking shape. It's a deeply human story. I highly encourage everyone to go see it. Honestly, Amanda, I didn't even cry as much as most people did. I don't even think it's like as devastating as people are making it out to be. Just give it a chance. Give yourself over to it. It's wonderful. She's incredible.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. And Chloe Zhao is in that sweet spot where people win directing twice. She won 5 years ago. You know, we've seen that. That's usually when people will win again, is within a 5-year frame. That's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Alfonso Cuarón.
I
back to back, but still within 5 years. So
yeah, I don't have her like as a major threat for director right now, but I did move Hamnet in my adapted screenplay #1 just because I feel like it's her and Maggie O'Farrell, and like they're gonna, that screenplay is incredible, and it just makes sense that would be a place to award that film. But that'll be another discussion for another day. Amanda, thank you so much for joining me. Where can people find you on social media? Where can they follow the incredible work that you do? Give yourself a little plug.
You can find me on Twitter at Miss Amanda Spears, and I always post my story links there. So, and all my thoughts about all of the nominations that are coming out. I just posted about my few obscure Grammy categories to keep an eye on, but those are the ones for EGOTs, people.
Ooh, I need to go take a look at that.
Steven Spielberg could move one award closer to an EGOT.
Oh, I didn't know. Did he?
John Williams. He did a documentary music film on John Williams, and he's listed as a producer. So if that film wins the Grammy, he's got to produce a play to get his Tony Award. And he's got to do it before Martin Scorsese does it, because they'll both be one away. So that's one of those. I only care about the ones with EGOTs.
Darren Criss could be one away if he ends up winning.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that. I am at Shadan Larkey everywhere. Haven't been on my socials as much, but would love a follow there. Follow In Session Film everywhere. Please rate us and review us anywhere you get your podcasts. And Amanda, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you to Gus. We love a good pup cameo on Chasing the Gold. And we'll see you next time. So far,
no one's killed any dogs, so he's very happy.
No dogs were harmed in the making of this podcast. Have a good one, everybody.